So this video is for all women, but specifically for my high earning, high achieving women. And that is be very, very careful who you marry or who you have children with, because that can ruin everything that you've built.
If you're a high value woman, be careful of these men because most of them are coming to you because of your money, right? They want to get married to you because of your money because they know that at the end of the day, they can split the money with you. If there's problem in the relationship or you guys want to divorce, they can split the money with you because you are earning more than them and they've seen this even before you got married to them. So if you get married and you don't do a prenup before marriage, when you want to get divorced, all of your earnings get split off. So these guys, they know that you have the money and they will come to you because they know at the end of the day they will get your money after you guys split off. Let me share this video for you also watch to the end and I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video.
So this video is for all women, but specifically for my high earning, high achieving women. And that is be very, very careful who you marry or who you have children with, because that can ruin everything that you've built. So I'm a cardiologist. I am also an author. I have 2 books out on rotation and Between Friends and Lovers. And this is relevant because I have intellectual property and I also am a high earning woman. I have made a lot of my childhood dreams come true. I'm very happy with my life right now. But the thing I am most proud of myself for is that I recently escaped an abusive marriage. And obviously, this was a very tumultuous journey for me, a very tumultuous year. However, the thing that really, really struck me as I was going through the divorce process is how little the legal system protects women like me. So when you get divorced, if you don't have a prenup, which I'll talk about in a second, all of your marital property, so everything that you earned during your marriage gets split right in the middle. And the idea is that regardless of what you earned, that somebody was sacrificing to make it possible for the other person to make income. And this structure was really put in place to protect women. So for a very long time, just in our patriarchal society, what would happen is that the man would be the breadwinner, right? And the woman would manage most of the domestic, emotional, and mental labor, would handle the child rearing. But now we live in a time where women are now doing everything. We're making money, and we are still, and this is like data driven, we are still doing the majority of the domestic labor, even in households where we are the breadwinners. So when I decided to leave my husband, who has a high earning job, by the way, but had refused to work for the last year, I found myself in a situation where I, number one, might lose half of my intellectual property, my book rights, and in one in which he could wait me out and try to ask for alimony, which is something that he threatened to do. I left him in January. I started my big cardiologist job where I got a big bump in income in August. And he was like, I will just not work and I will just wait you out and I'm going to demand alimony. When I started going through this and I started talking a little bit more openly about it, I found that I was very much not alone, that this is actually a pattern, that abusive men will target high achieving women who are often very conscientious, very driven, have a fixist mentality, and can be very empathetic, have children with them or marry them, and then attempt to drain them dry. And people say, oh, what about a prenup? Like, you should just have a prenup. The problem with prenups is, number one, they don't ever cover any kind of child support. My ex came from a wealthy family. He had a good, well-paying job. He just refused to work. And one thing I realized is that if I had had a child with him, not only would I have had to hand over my baby to an abusive man, I also would have been paying him child support to maintain the same quality of life between our households. On top of that, while you can anticipate how you split up what you have before the marriage within the prenup, it's very difficult to anticipate what you're going to do and what you're going to make in the future. So like, for the example with me, I don't know whether I would have anticipated some of my intellectual property, and I probably would not have included that in a prenuptial agreement. My divorce attorney represents a lot of women in positions similar to mine and would frequently tell me stories about creative ways that abusive men would find ways around prenups in order to take over aspects of their businesses, their companies, etc. And I'm really encouraging her to make a social media page or a TikTok so that she can actually talk about it, because I feel like it's never talked about. I'm going to be honest, at this point, with the system that we have, And the fact that 1 in 3 women are in abusive relationships, I don't even know whether it's worth it for someone like me to be married again. So be truly, truly careful out there, ladies. Like, I know I see so much content with people being like, oh, like, if you don't have a ring, if you don't get married. A lot of these people are evil. There are some evil people out here. And because of there's so much shame around it, we don't really talk about the potential impact they can have on your lives. But if you are a girl who is making your own and building your own, think very, very hard about whether you want to bring a man into that equation, because it is extremely difficult to get him out.
Hey, beautiful people. How y'all doing today? It's your girl, Maria David, and thank you so much for tuning in another interesting video. I hope you are doing great. See, I just feel like you don't have to be high value. You don't have to be a successful woman to listen to this advice. So far, you're a woman and you want to get married to a man, be careful of who you marry and who you have a child with, because this man, they've seen the potential. Most of them have seen the potential. They've seen what they're going to benefit from you. So just be careful. Be careful. Okay. But then, if you're very successful, be more careful. I have few reactions to share with you all regarding this video. But then, I'd like to know your own thought down in the comment section. I'll share my own thoughts at the end of the videos.
So this video is for all women, but specifically for my high earning, high achieving.
So you know, I agree with her, but also you don't have to make a lot of money for this to happen to you. I know someone who's an educator who was married over a decade at this point, and she's never opened a bill. Never opened a bill. Has all these degrees though. Shit pissed me off when it happened, but she came across a bill and opened it and realized that he had been overcharging her, and it was one of those bills where you know it's going to be about the same every month. So say the bill is $60, he was telling her it was $90, and it's not like she made a lot of money more than him. She just made a little bit. And so I was like, you never looked at a bill? She said no. Mind you, she had been married to this man over a decade at this point. I said, y'all split the mortgage? She said, yeah. I said, looked around at the house because the house was old. I said, how do you know this house wasn't passed down from a family member or something like that? Like, how do you know there is a mortgage? And she just stared at me like, I was like, hell no.
So this video is for all women, but specifically for my high earning, high achieving.
Hey guys, it's Doc Bradley. Please go back and watch that entire clip. This is a cardiologist who was talking about her experience with marriage and having her finances at risk. So please go back and take a look. But I spend a lot of time mentoring medical students, residents, physicians, in particular women and women of color, about contracts, about protecting yourself legally and financially. And unfortunately, a lot of the women that I know who have had issues with divorce, alimony, losing their financial footing after marriage have been physicians. And it's because oftentimes we have not been adequately educated, informed, and provided resources with how to protect ourselves. Marriage is a contract, just like anything else. Like looking at a job or anything else, you need to make sure that you are legally and financially protected. So I often advise people at the very beginning, whether you're a medical student, resident, what have you, start looking for a legal and financial squad. So an accountant, a lawyer, a banker, and somebody who is going to, and a financial advisor, people who are going to advise you on the wisest things you can do to protect yourself immediately, whether you have a lot of money or not, especially if you know that you're going to be a big financial earner. We're all in love. Okay, but we also have to make sure that we're protecting ourselves. So please go back and watch that entire video. This cardiologist is spot on in everything that she's saying. And no matter where you are in your journey, it is never too early to protect yourself. Finding also, if you're a physician or you're on the track for medicine, You need to find a team that specializes in taking care of physicians. We have specific debt burden at the beginning, and we also have a capacity to be very high earners, and that puts you at risk. So hopefully you won't ever need to have these type of pit bull teams, but you really need to have a strong team of advisors who will teach you how to protect yourselves financially and legally. All right, peace.
High earning, high achieving women. And that is, be very, very careful who you.
Man, that was very unfortunate to hear that this cardiologist is going through that. I've seen it so many times, and I know I give women a hard time as far as when it comes to kind of fleecing men in the divorce process. But the truth of the matter is that it can go both ways. It's not that I'm glad that she's having this experience. I am very glad that she's vocalizing it because I don't think women truly understand why we're having a hard time, you know, entertaining any long term relationships because it's generally not worth it. And I think by women going through it, they get to see it from our perspective. If you're a well intentioned, good person, right, who works hard, you have to be very, very careful because there's a lot of people who don't just see you as the good person you are, they see you as a target.
Now that women do not have to wait for men before they make money, before they eat, now women are making their money. Women are struggling and trying to make ends meet. In fact, they're providing for themselves. Most women are being independent, even though if they have a man or not that is providing or not, they are taking up upon themselves to make money and be successful. So the thing is, the more women are even trying to make money, the less men are trying to make that money because now they're comfortable. Because imagine you have to make double or triple your income because now you have a girlfriend to take care of. But now your girlfriend is earning and she can afford anything she can afford. But then, so that will not even make you want to hustle more. So these men are now more relaxed and they don't want to double or triple their hustle and all of that. Few of them are the ones actually doing it. But because they've seen that, oh, the woman I'm with, I'd rather be, you see them telling people that I'd rather be with a woman that is making money, that can provide for herself, they can do 50-50 with me, that, that has money, they don't want to be with a woman that they will have to start you know, struggling so hard just to give her little money, right? They want the one that is successful. Most of them want the one that is successful. So they look at you and be like, this woman is successful. I feel like this is kind of woman I want to marry. And see, when men want to get married to you, they marry you for benefits. If you're not benefiting anything from you, they won't marry you. Don't want to be in a relationship with you to start with. A man that says you I want to be in a relationship with you has already specialized you. Like what is in his head first of all is he want to have sex with you and maybe take some things from you that you have that he doesn't have. So we women we need to be very careful, especially if you're a successful woman and you're earning. You don't know who is looking at you at the corner and just want to, you know, take all your money and run. There was a woman that was trending in Nigeria. She's a very successful skincare woman, and she wanted to jump up the bridge and unalive herself because of a man, right? Obviously, she was not with a man that was successful. She was just with a man because she has to be with a man. People say a woman is successful, but then she's not happy without a man. That's what society try to tell women to lie. Make women feel like, oh, money is not enough. I still need a man to spend the money with. You never can tell the kind of man you're going to have that will ruin you. So she made a video of why women ignore red flags in a relationship. It's not like you're not saying that this person is going to cause harm later in the future when you're dating the person. It's not like you're not saying those things, but then women just put those red flags aside because we've been taught that you just have to manage. Not all men are perfect, And there's always a fairy tale, because a man that is doing this to you, next tomorrow it might change. So be hopeful for the best. She was trying to say that maybe that's why women um always ignore red flags intentionally. Let me read the video for you all to watch to the end, and I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video.
So here's the thing. There are signs, however, they are socially acceptable. Why? Because abuse is actually, even though we like to pretend that we don't like it, it's extremely acceptable in our society. And a lot of controlling and emotionally manipulative behavior is written off as romantic. And especially in some cultures and religions, a lot of men's controlling and red flag behavior is considered something that women should compromise about and just put up with. Here are some things that I ended up learning from my experience. Looking back, I met my ex when I was in my early 20s. Number one, I think that anybody who loves you should not be comfortable with your discomfort. In my case, I was dating, engaged to, and married a man during my medical training, which meant I was training at a time when it was really hard for me to get good, consistent sleep. I worked 60 to 100 hours every week. I often had to have day-night shifts. I worked 30 hours in a row in my fellowship, as long as 60 hours in a row. Our combined income, especially once I started writing, was very considerable, and my ex would not let me turn on the AC in the heat of the summer so that I could sleep comfortably at the times that I could sleep, because he didn't want to spend more money. Now, at the time, my ex paid all the bills for about 2 to 3 years, basically until we got married. But I was very happy. I would have been very happy to contribute. That was something he wanted to do because he wanted to kind of posture himself as a provider. And there were constant fights until eventually I was able to convince him to let us turn on the AC. In retrospect, that was a huge red flag. It was something that came up over and over again, and my sleep and my comfort at a time like that should not have been up for debate. Other red flags before we actually entered our relationship, so very early on when we first met, he had just exited a different relationship 3 weeks before, and he presented his ex as this huge villain. Now, I can sit here and I can make a whole other TikTok about all of the ways that I contributed to or made myself vulnerable to a situation like this. Because men also are often abused by women. Interpersonal violence is a thing. I think it's 26% of men experience it sometime in their life, and it's 41% of women. It's just that we don't kill them. And so there was certainly truth there, but the way he framed it, she was completely villainous. There was nothing he could have learned from that. He was just a hapless victim, and I think that is a huge red flag. Unfortunately, at the time that I left, I ended up finding out that a lot of the behaviors that he'd exhibited with me, and also a lot of the things that he had told me that she had said about him, were all true, and that he'd done them to her first. I think the third red flag is that if you find yourself having to overly explain your feelings, that's a problem. I will never, ever send paragraphs of text, paragraphs of emails trying to explain why my feelings are valid to a person who claims to love me ever again. And the last is kind of subtle controlling behavior, especially when it is framed in terms as, oh, I want to do this because I love you and this is how I show my love for you, etc. I have a comic platform on my Instagram. You guys can check it out, ShirleyRollMD. It's in my bio. And for years, I wanted to make a website to put my comics on, because I know that not everyone is on social media. My ex said he wanted to make a website because that is his field. He then proceeded for 3 years to not do any work on it. Anytime I said, hey, can I just hire somebody? I can just do that. That's fine. He would claim that I was taking away an opportunity for him to show love to me. When he finally did make it, he did not make it to the way I wanted it to be made. So I didn't share it. I didn't use it at all because it was, quite frankly, very ugly. And on top of that, he used that opportunity to take my domain names, make an account that was not accessible to me, put my name, ShirleyNabobi.com and ShirleyRollMD.com, under his accounts, and held at ransom once I decided to leave him. Honestly, when I look back, I had very poor boundaries and I accepted explanations and words instead of looking at behavior and impact. Also, like many women in these situations, abuse doesn't come on all of a sudden. A lot of abusive men turn up the heat slowly, slowly, slowly over time, such that when I first was with this person, he was an incredible person, an incredible partner, very supportive. And by the time I was leaving, he was threatening to kill me in graphic terms. So TLDR, I really think that for women, I mean, like being with men is one of the most dangerous things you can do, and we need to leave the first red flag. And it can be hard because dating is not fun, and we all want to have that beautiful love story that we sometimes see demonstrated in real life. But this whole thing about second, third chances, this whole thing about compromise, like, nah, don't do that ish. Date like a man, be selfish, protect yours.
There's a very serious advice women or ladies or younger ladies should not even take for granted these days is living at the very first red flag. I feel like this advice was not everywhere, or I don't even know that you're supposed to live in the very first red flag when I started dating. Society expects women to just compromise, forgive, be understanding. So that was the kind of picture they painted when it comes to relationship with a man. So if you're a younger girl watching this video and you just want to start dating or you just want to be in a relationship now, just leave at the very first red flag. Leave when you start doing things that you don't like, especially after telling him, I don't like this thing, and they do it. Because if you don't leave at that very first red flag, most of the time is that red flag that will make you leave after 10 years. Then you'll be like, and he has been doing this. You hear people say, he has been doing this for a very long time. I have been talking. All I do is talk and complain. He's not changing. I have waited for him to change. They don't change. They don't change. They don't get better. They only get better and they only change in their own terms. If they're not ready to change, they will not change. So there's nothing you want to do. Living at the very first wave, I just feel like always tell young girls to do that, especially the ones that are ready to date, because these men are not ready to change and they're ready to ruin women's life. If women start thinking like men and doing what men does, being selfish, I feel like women are going to be happier. And yeah, I know it's not going to be easy because that is not how things were. But with time, I feel like things will be better. See, I feel like if women even learn how to be manipulative, how to be love bombing, how to, treat you the way men treat women, relationship will be sweet. Because in fact, if women know, as in you put men from a zero, don't place them on 100. You are expecting them to even do something worse to you. You expect it, right? I feel like relationship will be better than you not expecting it, you trusting 100 and loving 100 and giving the man your heart. In fact, you leave your career and everything just to make him happy. Some women sacrifice their body by having kids, more than one children. Some people even put their life at risk just because by traveling to long distance, just because they want to make relationship work. After doing all of this, does it even make the man to, be a good person, if that makes sense? I find that video very interesting. That was why I was on her page watching her videos and listening to what she has to say. And there was a video she said, there was a comment she got on her video. And someone was like, oh, I can't believe something like this happened to you. You seem smart and intelligent. So how can you allow a man to do things like this to you? You all don't get it when it comes to relationship with men. You all don't understand how women are being programmed to see relationship in a certain way. So no matter how smart you think you are, if you're still gonna fall for those things unless you are aware already, or you have people telling you. In fact, even if you have people telling you this, you will still not see. Don't we see women that they are seeing this red flag? They'll come out and tell us, oh, you all don't understand my man, you all don't get it. How will you judge my man with just 2 minute video? At the end of the day, the relationship over. With this, time will tell, right? So the thing is, no matter how smart a woman is, men are great manipulators. So women need to be very careful. You need to understand what you're going into, and especially when you want to get married, when you want to go into that legal commitment with them, you need to use your head, not your heart. And when you want to have kids as well, some of them are having kids with you to humble you, to put you in a space, and to so that they can be connected to you forever. It's not because they like the kids. Don't mind them when they tell you, I like children. They don't like children. They can stay with children a full day. If a man stays with a child, he wants a trophy. He wants people to praise him because he has done something extraordinary. These are the kind of men that tell you they love kids. They don't love kids. They only want kids with you to trap you so that they can be with you forever, or so that you can be stuck with them forever. So that once you have a child with a man, is most of the time is more difficult for you to let go of him finally than when you don't have a child with him. So when people say be careful of people you have kids with and when you get married to, be really careful. Means use your head when you're making some serious decision that will affect you in the long term. What is your take on today's video? Kindly share your thought down in the comment section. Respectfully, check out Maria David. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share, subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.